Ladies and gentlemen, it is my belief that within each and every one of us lies an extraordinary power waiting to be tapped into. We are all born with incredible potential, a potential that has the capacity to change the world, to transform not only our own lives, but the lives of those around us. But all too often we fail to recognize this power and we allow fear, doubt, and insecurity to stand in our way. To unleash your potential, you must first understand one simple truth. You are capable. Deep within you, there is a strength, a purpose, a calling that is greater than any challenge you may face. You have been equipped with the tools to succeed, and it is time to realize that the very essence of your being holds greatness. However, too many people live in the shadow of self-doubt. They question their abilities, they worry about what others think, and they hesitate to step forward into the future that awaits them. But let me tell you today, doubt is the enemy of progress. And it is only by choosing to rise above these barriers that we truly begin to see the full potential of who we are. Yes, the road ahead may not always be smooth. There will be moments of failure, moments where you might feel like giving up. But let me remind you, failure is not the end. It is merely a stepping stone to success. It is through adversity that character is forged. It is in the struggle that we discover our true strength. The key is to persist. The key is to keep moving forward even when it seems impossible. You must make the choice to take action every single day, no matter how small those steps may seem. The journey to unleashing your potential is not one that happens overnight. It is a journey that requires dedication, discipline, and a deep belief that your purpose is greater than any fear or obstacle. Remember, greatness is not reserved for the few. It is available to all who are willing to embrace it. It's available to you. All you need to do is choose to believe in your potential, to embrace the challenge, and to take that first step forward. There is greatness within you. The world is waiting for you to unlock it. The time is now. Step forward in faith and unleash the power that has been waiting inside you all along. That's his answer. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of personal growth, a vital key that opens the door to realizing your fullest potential. For how can one move forward without first understanding who they truly are, what they are capable of, and what gifts they hold within? For too often, people live their lives unaware of the immense power residing inside. They get lost in the noise of society's expectations, the opinions of others, and the pressures to conform to a version of success that is not their own. Yet, when you begin to look inward, when you begin to reflect deeply on your strengths, your weaknesses, and your desires, you start to uncover a truth that will forever shape the course of your life, that you were not born by accident, that there is a purpose designed just for you. And with this awareness, you realize that the very essence of who you are holds the potential to change not only your own life, but the lives of those around you. This awareness is not just about recognizing your abilities. It is about understanding your limitations, accepting them, and then choosing to rise above them. For we all have areas where we may falter, where we may struggle, yet these struggles do not define us. They teach us lessons. And it is through this awareness of both our strengths and shortcomings that we develop the faith necessary to pursue what lies ahead with confidence, knowing that our abilities are not simply bound by the present, but are always evolving, growing, and being shaped by the experiences we encounter along the way. And when you start to recognize the depth of this evolution, you begin to trust in yourself more deeply, not out of arrogance or pride, but out of a quiet confidence that your potential is limitless. Faith in one's abilities is often the difference between those who reach their full potential and those who never step beyond their comfort zones. For without faith, you will never move. You will never take risks. You will never step into the unknown. But with faith, even in the face of adversity, you find the courage to try, to believe in the possibility of success, no matter how impossible it may seem at the time. Faith is the fuel that propels you forward. It is the unwavering belief that no matter what happens, you are capable of overcoming, capable of adapting, capable of creating something extraordinary from nothing. And when you have that kind of faith in your abilities, the world becomes full of opportunities. Challenges turn into stepping stones, and every failure becomes a lesson leading you one step closer to the person you were always meant to be. But faith does not come easily. It is a practice, a muscle that must be developed through consistent effort, through small victories that build upon one another. For it is in the mundane, everyday actions, the seemingly insignificant decisions, that faith is nurtured and strengthened. It is in the quiet moments of doubt when you feel like giving up, that you must remind yourself that you are more than your current circumstances, that you have the ability to grow, to change, and to push beyond what you thought was possible. And each time you take that step, each time you choose to believe in your own potential despite the obstacles, you strengthen the very foundation of your faith. And the more you strengthen it, the more confident you become until you no longer need to question your abilities. Because you have witnessed time and again how powerful your faith can be in unlocking the doors to your dream. To truly unleash your potential, you must begin to see yourself not as you are, but as you are becoming. For potential is not a fixed destination. It is a journey, a continuous unfolding of who you are meant to be, and this journey begins with self-awareness and faith. The understanding that you are not limited by where you've been, but empowered by where you are going. And in that understanding, you see that the only thing standing between you and your greatest potential is the belief that you are worthy of it, the belief that you are capable of achieving it. For when you fully embrace your own worth, when you acknowledge the greatness that resides within, you begin to see your life through a new lens, a lens of possibility, of purpose, and of power. This self-awareness and faith in your abilities are not just about reaching personal success. They are about serving others. For when you recognize the potential within yourself, you can then see the potential in others. And with this understanding, you become a force for good, a catalyst for change, and a beacon of hope for those around you. Because self-awareness and faith in your abilities are not just personal pursuits. They are the foundation for building communities, for helping others unlock their own potential. For when you live fully aware of the gifts you've been given, you naturally inspire those around you to do the same, creating a ripple effect that spreads outward, touching lives in ways you may never fully comprehend. In this, you realize that your own growth, your own self-awareness, is not an isolated journey, but part of a greater tapestry of interconnected lives, where the success of one becomes the success of all. So I urge you today to begin the process of unlocking your potential by looking inward, by taking the time to truly understand who you are, what you are capable of, and what you believe in. For when you do, you will find a wellspring of power, a power that can never be taken from you. And it is this power rooted in self-awareness and faith that will carry you through every challenge, every setback, and every moment of doubt as you step boldly into the future with the certainty that you were meant to do great things, not because you are perfect, but because you are willing to try, to grow, and to believe that with each new day, you are becoming more of the person you were always meant to be. Doubt and fear are two of the most insidious forces that hold us back from achieving greatness, for they whisper in our ears, telling us that we are not enough, that we will fail, that our dreams are too big, too impossible. But what these voices fail to acknowledge is that doubt and fear are simply the product of our own limitations, the false beliefs we hold about ourselves and our abilities. And it is only by confronting these forces head-on, by challenging the narrative they create in our minds, that we can begin to rise above them and see the truth, that we are capable of far more than we give ourselves credit for. That the very thing we fear is often the very thing that will propel us forward. That every step we take in the face of doubt is a victory. For it is through these moments of uncertainty that we truly grow, truly transform. And it is in those times when fear threatens to paralyze us that we must remind ourselves that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward despite it. For fear will always be a part of life. It will never disappear entirely. But we have the power to choose how we respond to it. And by choosing to act, to push past our doubts, to take the first step, even when we cannot see the entire path ahead, we begin to break free from the chains of fear and open the door to limitless possibilities. And so, when you find yourself standing on the edge of the unknown, staring down your fear, remember this: the only way to truly overcome it is to face it head on, to embrace the uncertainty, to trust that you are stronger than the doubts that cloud your mind, and to take that step forward anyway, knowing that on the other side of fear lies growth, opportunity, and the realization that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. In those moments of self-doubt, when the weight of uncertainty presses down on your chest and the world around you seems to be closing in, it's easy to convince yourself that you are alone in your struggle, that no one else has ever felt the way you do. But the truth is that doubt and fear are universal experiences. They are part of being human. And every person who has ever achieved something great has had to face them at one point or another. They've had to push through the discomfort, the resistance, the overwhelming desire to quit, and yet they chose to keep going, to move through their doubts with a quiet resolve, because they understood that their dreams were worth more than the fear that tried to hold them back. And when you can accept that doubt as a natural part of the journey, that fear is simply a sign that you are stepping outside of your comfort zone and into a place of growth. You begin to see that it's not the fear that defines you, but how you choose to respond to it. And when you choose to rise above it, when you decide that you will no longer be dictated by the voices of doubt, you unlock a new level of courage, a courage that comes from within, and that courage becomes the fuel that propels you toward your greatest potential. The key to overcoming fear is not to wait for it to go away, but to acknowledge it, to look it in the face, and to continue moving forward in spite of it. For in that moment, when you choose to act despite your fear, you take away its power, you rob it of the control it once had over you. And you begin to build a new narrative, a narrative where fear no longer has the final say, where your dreams and aspirations take precedence over the limiting beliefs that once held you captive. For every step you take in the face of fear is a declaration that you are stronger than your doubts, that you are more than the insecurities that try to define you. And it is through this process of repeatedly choosing to act, to take bold steps, that you build resilience, that you strengthen your resolve. And with every success, no matter how small, you add to your arsenal of evidence that fear is not something to be feared, but something to be conquered. It is important to recognize that fear and doubt are often rooted in the unknown, in the uncertainty of what the future holds. And so one of the most powerful ways to overcome them is to embrace the unknown, to take the leap without needing to know exactly where you will land. Because the truth is that certainty is a luxury that does not always exist in life. And often it is in the uncertainty that we find our true potential. It is in the willingness to step into the unknown with faith in ourselves and our abilities that we discover what we are truly capable of. For the unknown is not a threat, but a blank canvas waiting to be painted with the experiences that will shape us into the person we are meant to become. And when you begin to see the unknown not as a source of fear, but as an opportunity, you free yourself from the paralysis that doubt can bring. And you embrace the limitless possibilities that exist on the other side of fear. And as you move through life facing each challenge with the knowledge that doubt and fear are inevitable, but that they do not define you, you will come to realize that overcoming them is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process, a lifelong practice of continually choosing to face fear. To move through doubt and to trust that every obstacle is an opportunity for growth, for it is not the absence of fear that leads to success, but the courage to act in the face of it, to step forward when the road ahead is unclear, to hold on to the belief that your dreams are worth fighting for. And as you continue to push forward, you will find that the more you face your fears, the less power they have over you. Until one day you look back and realize that the fear that once held you back has now become a distant memory, replaced by a deep, unwavering belief in yourself and your ability to overcome anything that comes your way. And so let this be a reminder to you today. Fear is not something that should keep you from your dreams. It is something to be embraced, to be understood, to be conquered. And in the process of overcoming it, you will discover a strength within yourself that you never knew existed. A strength that will carry you through every challenge, every setback, and every moment of doubt, until one day you stand on the other side of fear, having overcome it, having become the person you were always meant to be, and you will realize that fear, while ever present, no longer holds the power to define you because you chose to rise above it. And in doing so, you unlocked your true potential, a potential that was always waiting to be unleashed. Commitment to action is the driving force behind every great achievement, for no dream, no goal, no aspiration is ever realized without the courage to take that first step, and then the courage to keep stepping forward no matter the obstacles, no matter the setbacks, no matter the doubts that will inevitably arise along the way, because action, however small or uncertain, is what turns dreams into reality. It is the very act of doing that begins the process of transformation, and it is through the commitment to take consistent action, even in the face of challenges, that you begin to build momentum, that you begin to see the results of your efforts compound, and with each step forward, with each action taken, you reinforce the belief that you are moving towards something greater, toward the life you envision, toward the person you were meant to become. And that is why commitment to action is not just about doing what's easy, it's about doing what's necessary. even when the road is hard, even when the reward feels distant. For it is in the doing, in the persistence, that progress is made, that success is achieved, and that transformation occurs. Perseverance is the silent force that keeps you going when the world seems to be telling you to stop. It is the inner strength that rises up when everything else around you seems to be falling apart. And it is perseverance that separates those who succeed from those who give up too soon. For success is never the result of one perfect move or one great leap, but the sum of countless small, consistent efforts made over time. Despite the difficulties, despite the frustrations, and despite the moments when it feels like nothing is working. Because perseverance knows that every challenge is just another opportunity to grow. Every setback is just a lesson in disguise. And every failure is simply a stepping stone towards success. And those who persevere, those who refuse to quit, are the ones who ultimately realize their dreams. Not because they were lucky, not because they were smarter, but because they never stopped moving, never stopped learning, and never stopped believing that the next step, the next effort, the next moment would bring them closer to their goal. The path to success is rarely linear, it is rarely straightforward, and it is certainly never without its hurdles. But those who are truly committed to their goals understand this truth. There will be challenges, there will be moments when the progress seems slow or non-existent, and yet in those moments it is the commitment to action and the perseverance to keep moving forward that make all the difference. For when you are truly committed, when you have decided that you will not quit, that you will continue to put one foot in front of the other, regardless of how many times you stumble, you begin to build the resilience necessary to weather any storm, to push through any obstacle, and to face each new challenge with the understanding that every difficulty is a temporary one, that it will pass, and that your commitment to continue will see you through to the other side where success awaits. When you commit to action, it is not enough to simply take one step and expect instant results. Because progress takes time, and time is both a teacher and a tester. It teaches you patience, it tests your resolve, and it often requires you to trust in the process even when the end result is not yet in sight. And this is where perseverance becomes vital. For perseverance is not simply about doing the same thing over and over again. It is about doing it with purpose, with heart, with the understanding that each action, no matter how small, is a part of the bigger picture, piece of the puzzle that will eventually reveal itself. And with each new day, with each new effort, you become stronger, you become wiser. And that is the true power of perseverance. It builds you, molds you, and transforms you into someone who can face anything with unwavering faith in your ability to succeed. Knowing that every action you take brings you closer to your goal, even if the path is not always clear. Commitment to action and perseverance also require a deep sense of purpose. For when you are truly committed to something, when you understand why you are taking each step, why you are enduring the hardships, why you are sacrificing your time and energy, it becomes easier to stay the course, to keep pushing through when everything seems uncertain, because purpose gives you direction, it gives you motivation. And it fuels your perseverance so that when the journey gets tough, when it feels like you are standing alone, you remember why you started. And this reminder becomes the anchor that keeps you grounded and focused, knowing that the work you are doing today is shaping the future you will one day experience. And this sense of purpose transforms the mundane into something meaningful, the challenges into something worth overcoming, and the journey itself into one of fulfillment and growth, because when you act with purpose, your efforts are infused with meaning, and that meaning propels you forward, even on the darkest of days.